Hello dear doctor, it's Olivia here. My topic is the impact of politeness and rudeness in MMOGs, a case study of advocating life. Our daily social interaction is anchored in interpersonal discourse. Accordingly, the phenomenon of linguistic politeness is prevalent in daily social interaction. Speech participants utilize linguistic politeness to avoid and reduce social friction and enhance each other's face or public self-image during social interaction. What is virtual world? Bill's papers offered an original platform for creating a consistent concept of virtual world that is asynchronous and continuous. Amateurs networking, fascinated by networked computers. What is massive multiplayer online game? In the other word, MMOG. MMOGs provide a fictional world in which a wide number of players communicate by creating user groups. Yi said that it allows thousands of avatars to concurrently play in an evolving interactive online environment. What is Advocating Life? Advocating Life is a virtual global multiplayer 3D game. Advocating Life is also one of the most popular video games and MMOGs where users can pick their own characters, their own clothes. Its slogan is Explore every dimension of you. This is Advocating Life. Who will you be today? Next part, over the last few decades, Western and non-Western academics, linguistic politeness have attracted a tremendous interest. Linguistic politeness acts as a strategic tool to minimize social contact. As such, the interpersonal role of our everyday use of language has been emphasized. As computer-based communication continues to develop, the communications paradigm has made advances in understanding communications mediated by computers and interpersonal communications. Several research projects recently centered on topics related to identity and emoticons in email communications. Kramer reveals that MMORPG players must face many language difficulties when gaming, and multiple influence affect their use of language. And our research question is how politeness and rudeness in MMOGs affect the interpersonal relationship between online users and the feeling of online users' gaming experience. My research objectives are to analyze politeness and rudeness in MMOGs and to discover the relationship between politeness, rudeness in MMOGs and the interpersonal relationship between online users and the feeling of online users' game experience. The 9 listed 3 concepts in literature review. The first one, theory of face. According to Goffman, the face can be used as a positive social value that one can claim during a particular social interaction. Thus, face can be seen as public self-image. Brown and Levinson's theory of politeness as a basis. Cross-linguistic element is by far the most influential theory in the linguistic politeness. The theory of Brown and Levinson basically defines politeness as a political instrument for preserving the reputation of the public and satisfying the needs and desires of the audiences. As mentioned, politeness is a kind of social-cultural phenomenon, which depends on specific social-cultural attribution. In the interpersonal relationship between participants, there are 3 variables that would affect achievement of politeness, which are power, distance, and imposition. And four main groups of strategy are described from Brown and Levinson. Bold on record, positive politeness, negative politeness, off record. I determined to pay attention to two categories of politeness strategies: positive politeness and negative politeness strategies, and use the dualistic passion model serving to explain the effects of MMOGs on the interpersonal domain and in particular online and offline relationship. This mini project was based on an ethnographic analysis done over 2 months in Avakin Life, was based on a qualitative approach. The participants were randomly recruited by asking the players if they were ready to interview. There is only one people who allowed me to interview her, so I have to distribute some questionnaires in some social media like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Finally, I got 6 participants in total. I conducted one-on-one interview with the girl from Avakin Life directly and distribute some structured questionnaire to collect data. I adapted semantic analysis as data analytical framework. There are 6 phases of conducting semantic analysis. 1. Familiarizing yourself with the data. 2. Generating initial codes. 3. Searching for theme. 4. Reviewing potential themes. 5. Defining and naming themes. 6. Producing the report. The research referred to begin with 3 ethical concepts in carrying out virtual ethnography that takes a sympathetic approach to cultural studies. First, because online culture is not partial, we must participate as fully as possible in order to understand. The second adapts a key characteristic of anthropological ethnography to the virtual environment. Must remember the degree to which, as academics and citizens of contemporary culture, we are already participants in online culture. Finally, it's crucial to begin by considering where community appears and how presence and intimacy work for that community. According to the result of semantic analysis, I clustered 2 main themes from dataset: interpersonal network expansion and escapism. This study supports more perspectives into the impact of politeness and rudeness in MMOGs. Both of positive and negative politeness strategies are adapted by game players in Avakin Life, and similarly, both of action and harmony of the dualistic model of passion are took steps by players. In virtual world, players will adapt different politeness strategies in different places at different times to construct diverse identities, to expand their interpersonal networks, or to escape the real life for relief or peace without any constraints from real world. Due to COVID-19, it's difficult to conduct interviews offline. Therefore, the data from distributed questionnaire in social media is limited, unclear, and inadequate. Hence, in the future, researchers should enhance the ability and techniques for online interview. During offline interviews, giving reinforcement feedback and negative reinforcement plays a vital role, so researchers should train themselves through simulation interview more before real interview. In addition, unfortunately, at the end of the ethnography observation of this research, the objective virtual platform QUALITATIVE was forbidden on the Chinese mainland. So, in the future, researchers should be prepared with Plan B for all X factors in their research proposal. That's all. Thank you, Doctor.